What's up, guys? Welcome to this really cool automation that I'm going to show you how to create for yourself so that you can schedule 60 plus pieces of content across Instagram without ever having to go back to it. The function is really simple. We've got a counting tool, which just goes up in numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth. It pulls the design from Canva, it searches a certain record in Airtable, and it posts it all together in Instagram. Now, the reason this exists this way is that when you think about posting, you need the actual content, so you need the file, that's where Canva comes in. Each piece of content looks different, that's where AI comes in, and Canva, I'll show you that in a second. Then we have to have the actual headline, the captions, that's where Airtable comes in. And then finally, we have all of that stuff coming together and being posted into Instagram for Business. Now, let's just get straight into it with the content design inside of ChatGPT, and then we'll pull this together so you can build it. Now, in order to create the content, I will show you the example of what we have set up. In order to create the content, what we need to do is go to ChatGPT first and foremost. And what we're going to do is use ChatGPT 01 Mini for this, just because it's much faster. Inside of the group, inside of the Systemizers community here, you'll have a link for that below. You will see that there is an example prompt. So what we're going to do is go ahead and use that. Okay, I'm just going to walk through it and we'll change it as we go. This was for a Faceless brand that was all around language learning. And what I wanted to do was to create quiz content, automated, so that it posted 2 times a day for the next 30 days, giving me everything that I need. So I only need to come in here once every 30 days and set this up. And if you go inside of Canva, where are you, Canva, you will see that this is how this actually looks when it's done. You've got reel number 1, reel number 2, and you can see that all these are different. And on top of that, that all of these actually come with different captions. So I'll show you how to set that up right now. Starting with ChatGPT. Here we go. Remember to leave it on ChatGPT 01 Mini. I'm creating Instagram content with the idea of creating quizzes for my audience, asking them a language question on how a word is written correctly. We're going to be doing this from the perspective of English speakers learning Japanese. Okay? Or let's do one that's easier, German. Write me, let's just do 3 quiz questions that contain 3 answers, 1 correct, 2 incorrect. Make sure that these are typical mistakes English speakers make, such as false friends, typical mispronunciations, etc. Do not repeat the same question twice and use infinitive forms of verbs only. And use verbs only in the infinitive form. Use the format, how do you say X in German? We don't need this one, there's no differentiation in German. Along with that, also create captions for Instagram that are in the following format. Question asked plus appropriate emoji, comment below plus emoji suggestion below, plus 2 to 3 appropriate hashtags. P.S. The correct answer is answer. Did you get it right? Let us know in the comments, okay? So this should now create, let's just press play, 3 quiz type questions that are in German that are for German learners. Okay, and the reason they're all going to be different is that we're going to use this. So right now we're in the content creation stage of AI, and I will show you how to put all that into Canva, then how to put all that into Airtable, then how to connect it all using Make, and how you can then post. So let's have a look. Let's wait for this to just finish thinking. Have a sip of coffee while we wait. And while we do that, one of the things that you can do is actually just open up a new Google Sheets, because in order to connect this to Canva, we're going to be using this as a CSV file. Now, you can use ChatGPT to download CSV files, but sometimes it bugs out, so I'm going to give you a workaround in case that happens. Here we go, quiz question 1. How do you say to ask in German? Is it fragen, forschen, or fallen? Here are the captions generated, right? It's the same as the question. Comment below with the appropriate hashtags, and then with the correct answer too. Quick question 2, how do you say to rent in German? Is it renten, mieten, or reiten? And then you've got the appropriate stuff. So you can see that this has worked. Wonderful. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to just attempt to, let me show you the workaround first, okay? Create a CSV format for the questions only. So what this is going to do is give us a format of something we can copy and paste into an Excel spreadsheet. You can see this. It's actually added in the answers, which is a little bit annoying. Let's see if we can separate it. No, we cannot. Okay, so we're going to have to either do this manually, or we are going to try this again. Let's give it a go. Create a CSV format of the questions without the answers. Let's try that. Let's see what happens here. Sometimes these things can mess around a little bit. AI can be like this, right? So we have to find a way to do it. And it's still not working. So fortunately, you can mess around with this and a little bit more in the future. But for now, we're just going to do question. Right, here's question 1. We're just going to copy them in one by one because we can't be bothered with this, right? You could take all this, put it through various data separators and so on and so forth. But for the purposes of this, it's not really related to what we're going to do. So there we go. So here are our 3 questions. And then we're also going to do the same thing for answer A, B, and C. We've got this. And then we're also going to do captions. And we're also going to do correct. Okay, so this is the correct answer. In fact, we'll flip these around so that we don't need to do this. Okay, answer A is Fragen. Answer A in this one is Renten. Answer C is Schenken. And I'm just going to go through and add these in while I pause so you don't have to watch me do this. Okay, so this is now added in here, but we still need what is correct and what is the captions. Okay, create a CSV format for the captions in order and also for what the correct answer is. So let's just see if it does this properly this time. It may not. These things can be temperamental, as we know. Either way, we can just copy and paste them in, or we can use a data adjustment tool. Just Google how to turn raw CSV file or Note CSV file into something else. Cool, so you can see here that it's actually given us the captions with the correct answer. All right, let's have a look. Cool, I'm going to add these into our spreadsheet so that we have everything together. As I was just filling this in, I noticed that we actually don't need the correct because we actually already have this in the captions, right? Because this was already designed. So everything is here that we need. Now what we're going to do is we're going to call this German example CSV. We're going to take that file and we're going to save it as a CSV file. Where are we? Am I being stupid? It's got to be on download. There we go, as a CSV file. Cool. So now that we have this, what we're going to do is we're going to use this later, okay? And so what we're going to do now is we're actually going to head into Canva and we're just going to start something new. We're going to create a design. It's going to be Instagram, Reel, and we're just going to give it a background, right? So let's just design this together. We've got elements. Where are we? That's not what I'm looking for. Frames, there we go. Actually, grid is what we want. There we go. That fills it out nicely. Then we're going to go Germany, and we're going to go on videos, and we're just going to have a look for a video that we like. Let's do this one. That looks very German. Let's move it over so the flag is nice in the middle so everyone recognizes what it is. And then what we're going to do is we're also going to find, this is fine, we're going to find, what I like doing in these situations is when you're overlaying something with text, what we want to do is actually just put another grid on top of it, make it black, and then change the actual transparency because we want to be able to read the text, right? So we're watching this and we're saying, we can still identify this as Germany. Maybe this is a little bit too dark. We'll play with it. There we go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the text. So let's do a couple of things. So we're going to add a heading. It's all going to be in white. We're going to say comment below. We're going to make it smaller, 75 or something. So that's number 1. Number 2 is we're going to have, just name this question. We're going to have a couple more then down here, right? So we're going to have answer 1. We're going to copy and paste this. So we have answer 1, answer 2, and answer 3 like this. Because remember, we're going to be doing bulk uploads now, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. So here is the situation, right? And this obviously doesn't look as nice as it could. You know, we're not winning any prizes here for, let's put this to 65. We're not winning any design prizes here. I'm showing you guys the structure so that you could use this and actually do this with a cool design. So what we're going to do next is we're going to move my face over to somewhere where it isn't in the way. And we're going to make this 5 seconds long for a start. We don't want this to be a super, super long video. Let's make it 5 seconds just so someone can actually get into it. And what we're going to do is click on this little magic button and see if we can see, it's this, scroll all the way down and you can see bulk create. Now what bulk create allows you to do is to upload a CSV file and then link each of these to the information of the CSV file. So if I go to upload data and we click on this, and now we can actually have a look at question and we connect data to our lines in the file. So we know that this is question because we set this up, right? We have question A, B, C. Now if we go back to Canva, where are we? Lost it, cool. Answer 1 we need to connect, that's going to be A. Answer 2 is going to be B. And answer 3 is going to be C. Cool. Now what we can do is we can say continue for all 3 of these. We've only got 3 questions. Now when we click on generate 3 designs, you can see that we now have them, right? Reel number 1, comment below, how do you say to ask in German? Is it fragen, forschen or faulen? Second reel, how do you say to rent in German? Is it renten, mieten or reiten? Number 3, how do you say to gift? Is it schenken, giftieren or geben? Right, so we have these 3. So we're actually done here. Let's just name this something. We're going to call it German Reels Example. Okay, and we're actually going to move this nicely into a folder so that we all know what's going on where. So now that we have our content, we have to just set this up with Airtable. Okay, and the easiest way to do this is that you just create a new workspace. We're going to call it, whatever. We're going to start from scratch, and we're going to call this one. Oops, refresh the page. We're going to call this one German Example. And actually, all we have to do in this situation is take all of this and post it in here. Expand, yeah, we're all done. Or you could upload a CSV file too if you wanted. Now this is going to be question. This is going to be A. This is going to be B. We don't want this to be a status, so we're actually going to, you know what, let's delete all of this. Let's delete all this. Where are we? Delete field. Delete field. Let's just delete everything again. Right, let's start from scratch here. In fact, now we should be able to take this and copy and paste it in without any issues. Let's try it again. Yep, expand. There we go. And so we're just going to remove this top one because we actually don't need it. Delete record. And so we're left with question A, B, C, and then caption. Now that we have everything set up, let's just check that these actually have the GIFs in them. They do. So we have the question, we have A, B, and C, and we have the caption. And the only other thing that we need is insert right, and we're just going to call this number. Insert right, number, let's go. And we're going to move this here. Change primary field to number. And we're just going to do 1, 2, 3. Cool. So these are now our numbers. So we have the numbers to which we can reference any of this stuff. We have the question, we have the fragen, forschen, faulen, which is ABC, and we have caption. So what we need to do now is head back into our actual make automation, and we will create this from scratch together so that you can see how the whole thing works. So if you are inside of Make right now, what you can do is you can, if you're inside of our community, you head to the actual module and you will find this file, download it. This is the JSON file of the actual system that we've set up inside of Make, okay? If you're not in the community, then you can just build it with me from scratch right now, and either way, it's worth watching the remainder of this video. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a brand new scenario. We're going to call it German Example, and let's just start with the very first piece of the puzzle, okay, which is going to be tools. You can always just search for tools on show more, and what we want is increment function. For now, we're going to set the value as reset after 1 cycle because we want to be testing this. When this is live, just put never and it'll count up. What happens if you do it after 1 cycle, then what this means is that it'll just say 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 over again instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's just do after 1 cycle and we'll save it. Now, the next thing that we want to do is get Canva. Okay, so let's set that up. Now for Canva, what we're going to do is export a design, okay, which is this one here. And so what you want to make sure is that if your Canva isn't connected, you just connect it in. And once that's done, you can choose the actual folder. Now, you might not have a folder, that's fine, but we know that we put this earlier on into phrase play viral reels. And once this is live, there we go. The design that we're going to choose is German Reels example. Okay, this is what we spoke about. And the type is going to be an MP4 because this is a reel. Quality, just choose vertical 1080p, that's fine. And then for pages, what we want this to actually run by, and hold on, let me just run this once so that we actually have a number. There we go. For pages, what we want is to pull the number that comes out of this first tool here. The next thing we're going to do now is airtable. And what we're going to do on airtable is if we search it, is search a record. Okay. So in this case, once it's set up, the base that we choose is the one that we called it, right, which was viral Insta quiz. And actually, that's not even the one. It's German example. So my bad. There we go. And the table that we're going to choose is the default one that pops up, table 1. There we go. Now we're just going to select all of these. The view doesn't really matter. The formula that we're going to use is number, which remember, if we're having a look at this, right, what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to bind the right caption to what's going to be posted. So if we post this and it's all going to be in line with the counter, we want the caption to be the right caption to go with the right design, okay? So if we head back into this, where are we? We want number to equal this, so that it's all running on the same thing. Let's set the limit to 1 so it all works together. And the next piece now is going to be Instagram. Okay, so Instagram business is what we're really looking for. Make sure that you're set up. And we're going to be creating a reel post. Now inside of this is not the right integration. Make sure that you integrate it so we can choose the right page. The page that we're going to be choosing should be Chris Evans. It should pop up now. There we go. Now the video URL is the one that we're going to be picking up from the Canva module, which is the file URL that we spoke about before. Okay. The caption is what we're going to pull from Airtable, which is what we just spoke about, which is caption. The cover frame, all this is at what point inside of the reel you want to show this as the actual thumbnail. We're going to use 1 second in because it's a stationary thing, so it doesn't really matter. And we're going to make sure that it's shared to feed. Okay, so we're going to press OK. Now that we have all this set up, let's test it and see what happens. So I will show you what Instagram looks like right now, which slightly annoyingly, it won't actually let me record on the screen. So I've just screenshotted it for you. You can see that there's a couple of Spanish ones, 5 publications here, okay? So let's actually run this automation and see what happens. Maybe we'll discover a bug, maybe it'll work straight away. So we've pulled the number. So this is output number 1. Canva, it should be pulling the very first design. Let's have a look. There we go, it's pulled something. We'll double check this in a second. Airtable, it's now pulled the record, so let's have a look. The caption that it pulled is this one. And then it's now posting it on Instagram for business. So again, I will show you the screenshot of what that looks like. Assuming this has worked correctly, let's test it out together. 3, 2, 1, and let's see. All right, it's posted. Let's have a look. So you can see I just screenshotted this again. You can see that this was done 23 seconds ago. And this is our first question. How do you say to ask in German with those 3 options, with the appropriate caption, the hashtags, and everything else. So this is how you use make. So now what will happen is that final piece, we want to take the settings and we just want to never reset it. And then the last piece you want to do is, depending on what you want to do, is we want to set this up so that it runs at regular intervals. Maybe let's say it runs every day at 2:28 p.m., right? And so what would happen is you can activate the scenario, and now this is live, okay? So we're going to go back on this. It's going to ask us to save, so we're just going to save the changes. There we go. So this is now live, and now every day at this time, it's going to go into your Canva. It's going to find the design, if there is one. Make sure that you fill them up every 30 days or whatever it is that you do. Make sure that you top up your Airtable records as well, and it'll just post all of that information through. It's a super powerful way to schedule content en masse while using ChatGPT and AI and tools and automation to make your life a whole lot easier. Any questions, give us a shout below, and see you in the next one.